Thank you, Fred, for that lovely introduction. You know, sometimes I wonder if I will ever live that sorbet down, or live up to it, perhaps, I'm not sure. So I've been told, although I don't actually remember this myself, that when I was a very small child, my father taught me to shout feminism and reification at anthropology department parties. So you know who to blame for the feminism and the activism. Seriously though, I'm delighted and honored to be here today to accept this award on behalf of my father, President Ashraf Ghani. I was raised by my parents in the tradition of public service, which I know many of you also belong to. And I know how much it means to him to receive this award. I know he wishes he could be here himself to celebrate with all of you, as Fred said. But as you know, he has a rather demanding job. And I can't imagine anyone else doing it with such a remarkable balance of strength, skill, and grace. My father not only has an insatiable thirst for knowledge, he also has a photographic memory and an uncanny ability to synthesize information. It's kind of unfair, right, to have all of those things in one person. But it really makes him one of the best system thinkers that I know. He is unfailingly dedicated to his work, but he never loses sight of the human costs of public policies. He does notoriously have a bit of a temper, but he also has a wicked sense of humor, and somehow his jokes are all much funnier in Afghanistan than they ever were here. But you know, anyone who knows him probably knows all of this. What you may not know is that Ashraf is part of a long tradition of Afghan intellectuals in high office. Stretching back to the early years of the 20th century, the poet-statesman Mahmoud Tarzi, and the constitutional movement known as the Young Afghans, as well as their mid-century successors, the Awakened Youth, two movements that reimagined Afghan politics. Ashraf's presidency represents, among many other things, a reconnection to that tradition, and an opportunity for today's young Afghans, and I hope particularly for young Afghan women, to reimagine Afghan politics again. We Ghanis are not programmed for failure. That's a family joke. But so far, it has actually proved to be true. My father is indeed an extraordinary leader, and on behalf of all of us who are depending on that leadership, thank you so much for recognizing it with this award. And now, please turn your attention to the screens for the video of the earlier event.
The Atlantic Council's Distinguished International Leadership Award is given annually to a global figure who has made an enduring contribution to the international community. That's a somewhat bland way of describing a doer, which is my preferred term for the gentleman we honor this evening. Like many in this room, I have known Ashraf Ghani for years. I must say that I was immediately impressed. He was a brilliant economist, a provocative thinker, and a compelling international figure. He also didn't hesitate to make his opinions known, but then again, shrinking violets don't go very far in Afghan politics. President Ghani and his unity government have already set a new tone and established a new way of doing business. He has rebuilt his country's relations with its long-standing partners, making heartfelt gestures of gratitude for the many sacrifices that have been made. He has refocused the international community on the important work that is left for us to accomplish, giving the world confidence that Afghanistan's government is committed to the rule of law and protecting the rights of its people, including Afghan women and girls. But above all, he has offered hope to the Afghan people and to the world, hope that we can turn the page and begin writing what he has called a new book of cooperation, understanding, and engagement. So let me thank the Atlantic Council for giving us the opportunity to reaffirm our solidarity with the people of Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to present the Atlantic Council's Distinguished International Leadership Award to a true statesman and a very dear friend, President Ashraf Ghani. I will now let you speak.
Thank you. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, Secretary Albright, Mr. Kemp, Secretary General Stoltenberg, General Palmeiros, General Jones, many friends, I'm humbled by the words of the introduction. Atlantic Council has been a second home to me, and my friendship with Fred Kemp has been intense, multidimensional, and focused on the globe. I want to pay tribute to General Jones, who was Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, for engaging in Afghanistan. I'd also like to acknowledge my long friendship with Zal Khalizad. We've shared a very eventful 50 years together. Our paths have always crossed, and I'm looking very much forward to your more intense engagement with Afghanistan. Afghanistan is suffered, but we are a resilient people. What people must understand about us are our two sides. One is that those who come in anger to us never leave. From Alexander down, they've made the wrong calculations, and it's been difficult. But the other side of our character, unfortunately, the first side, has become our stereotype. The other is that hospitality, warmth, friendship, or characteristics that really embody our values. And our request is extraordinarily simple. We just want to be able to breathe normally. What we are determined to do is not to become victims of history, not to repeat history, but to overcome it, and in the process, make new history. What I consider the test is not just peace, not just prosperity, but the highest test that we in the Muslim world, frankly, have had difficulty: succession to high office through orderly process. So what I'd like to be a catalyst for is a remarkable team of young men and women, and hopefully from among them, also the first woman president of Afghanistan. Thank you, and good night.